Welcome to the LA Legends podcast, where Aflac pros sharpen skills, swap stories, and build the Los Angeles market one legend at a time. I'm Michael Fisher with my co-host, Michelle Lee, and our guest today, Veronica Hazelwood, District Sales Coordinator. Let's introduce Veronica. Welcome.
Thank you. This is exciting.
Good. This is going to be awesome. Veronica, just to kick us off, you've already hit your quotas. You've hit your fame 3 for 3. You've also made some huge organizational changes, but can you give us your quick origin story of how you ended up with Aflac and how you got into the DSC role?
I thought that, honestly, I was going to be a lifer in retail management. I started working at Walgreens when I was in college and was moving up the ranks and had a soon to be offered role to be a store manager. And I actually was having my children around that time. And there was a point in time where I was actually out on maternity leave with my second born. And I just kind of threw out some applications because I didn't know exactly how long I was going to be out for, and I needed to make money. Actually only took about 3 days, but I was back. And a couple months later, I had been reached out to by one of the companies I had applied for, which was Gelson's Markets. I'm sure a lot of people shop there.
Yeah.
It's nice
Classy.
to be a customer.
Yeah.
Learning a whole new industry in a new role with a lot of responsibility. I was working in the grocery business during the pandemic while they were having me work more and more hours, and the money was great, but I was never home. I wasn't able to be a mom like I wanted to, and I had already just gone through a really big dramatic shift just to be there. So I started looking for something that was going to be long-term for me, that was going to provide what I needed to for my family, while still giving me the opportunity to be a part of my family. So
Nice.
it was something that took a lot of time and thought and effort into looking into. And I came across Aflac, had an info session that I went to, started out part-time, and a couple months in is when I realized, with my district at the time, Antoine, I think I'm ready to just jump in full-time because that's the only way I can see that this is going to work for me. So it was obviously like scary and intimidating leaving the comfortable pay I was getting before. But I knew that I had to make it work, or honestly, my husband would be pissed. So
Nice.
that's really the way it came to it. And so I just haven't looked back. I've made sure that no matter what I'm doing, I'm putting every step that I can in the role as agent, into CIT, now as a district, that it is still the right choice role, and that I'm still making enough money to make ends meet for my family. So I mean, that's just daily the motivator. So it's big.
Yeah, you've proved that out. So quick recap, you were getting mansplained a lot by people, a lot in at Gelson's during the pandemic. Then you wanted to be a mom and actually be with your family. And also, you bet on yourself, and you've done that a lot. So I know that you have really made some huge leadership leaps in the last, the last 9 months. And I've been insanely impressed.
Struggling to connect with business owners? The Site Seller gives you the facts, talking points, and solutions you need right at your fingertips. Build trust, show value, and close deals with confidence. Site Seller, where conversations turn into partnerships.
For people that are just like starting in the career, what advice would you give them just right out of the gate of like, hey, you're in your first 90 days. What's important? What do they need to focus on? I mean, you just mentioned you yourself going all in on yourself. That was a big one. But what else would you say for people in their first 90 days?
I think a little bit of what I like to always make sure of when I'm telling anybody about, considering going into leadership, it's something I learned before actually working at Aflac, but I think it's consistent just in leadership and considering being in leadership, that you always are already doing whatever it is the position that you want to step into before you get there. And I think what's really important specifically for people to consider when they're moving up to CIT and DSC is that you're already doing everything that you need to, and that you have what you need to have in place first. And something that I had actually talked to with a few of my leaders before taking the role as district is, making sure that you are actively opening accounts that you will be able to bring people to, and that you're emulating the steps that you need to in prospecting, and that you're doing everything and you don't stop doing that. And something, just as I've learned in being in the role too, that you're actually the person that was the one I can relate back to doing this, is that you made sure to tell me early on that, it's the purest moment being a district when you're brand new, and make sure you have everything in place that you want to be your culture and your expectations and your systems and strategies the way that you want it to, before anybody taints it and damages what you want to have.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Michelle and I, we talk about it a lot, but I love that because it's, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to start doing that stuff once I get that title. And that's like, no, like you don't. You just are going to be busier, and you're not going to start doing that once you have a title. So, so walking the walk and actually doing it, and that's huge. The other one is, I think that you've made some huge strides in making sure that your culture and your crew and everything, while it's in its infancy, is, the foundation is very clear. So can you walk us through a little bit about what your team culture, vision, what it looks like?
Yeah, I'm actually really excited about it. It really, honestly, makes me happy and excited every morning to get up, that we all have agreed to and recommitted to individually what it is that our own expectations are for ourselves and what we want to accomplish, and that everybody's calendars and activity on a day-to-day basis is working towards that on a day-to-day basis. And it's something that, we've taken out of all of the really fantastic things that I've learned and that we discuss on a regular basis in Build a Bench, is making sure that there is a system and a process that you have in place, and that everybody's aware of it, and that everybody understands it and why it's like this and what we're all working towards, and that this is a winning team and everyone is lucky to be a part of it. And everybody wants to be a part of that and moving towards what they're trying to accomplish, and that we're also collectively trying to accomplish as a team, separate from the individual goals. And for all of those reasons, we have everything that honestly you told us all in Build a Bench we should have. So we have, our team meeting right after our regional meeting, right after our market meeting. We have call blocks that are scheduled on the calendar. We have our halftime on Wednesday morning right before a call block. We have our cool down on Friday morning, followed by a call block. And I have a selfish book of business day. I have scheduled Thursday blocks that they put their name into with the leads that they want me to go with them to, and the area and their ABA forms. Like that's the parameters for me to go in the field with them. I want to make sure there's a purpose and intention with where we're going, and that this is the block that they've selected. So there's a reason for where we're going.
Nice.
Just so there's just a very clear system in place. Everybody's aware of what I asked for to be turned in on Fridays by the time that it's expected. So, and the reasoning behind that is that they understand that I'm holding them to their own accountability, and that they're going to hold me to the accountability of being their partner and helping get them to their goals.
I love that. That's awesome.
Can you just put that on repeat?
Yeah.
Like repeat again and again and again.
I mean, genuinely, I feel like I'm just repeating everything you guys have taught me. And that just been
great student of the process.
For sure.
I love that you shared that of what your typical week looks like with your team, because you've been with Build a Bench for about a year now, and all the things that we brought in to help you guys out and that system, that setting that expectation ultimately, and then executing it on your end as the leader of that team. It's been pretty amazing to watch that journey with you as well. So
thank you.
Let's kind of look back at just the new associates and so forth. So setting that expectation as a brand new DSC, how do you maintain, like you talk about your book of business, how do you maintain what you have to get done to drive like your own personal pipeline along with that new associate? Now you talk about the blocks, but let's talk about the, how you actually execute that.
So, right during and following sales school, we have their pipeline that we are also plugging into our regional system as well. And so it's following up on, where are we at on these leads? Where are you at on your elevations? What can I do to assist you on that? And let's go, and I'm going to show you where I'm at on my own. And we're
when
going
are
to
you
keep
having those conversations?
throughout so I took the with my associate over here, Alana.
Guest producer Alana today.
We took the market coaching sheet and we turned it to remove any excuses or obstacles. We turned it into a Google form to make it even simpler, and they can do it on the go. But it's the same questions that you have on it, except we added a couple things that are maybe relevant at that time. Like we're in Power Weeks right now, so we're specific things that we have going on, or the scavenger hunt that we had going on. Those are incorporated into it, but also it's crucial to just test their confidence on running meetings, how many they're setting, where are they at, just all of the questions that are incorporated on that, and having the conversations following that and reflecting on the activity that got them to that. Yeah. So we just kind of review everything that was done previously in the week, and their calendar upcoming, and we discussed it as a team during the meetings as well.
Cool.
I did want to ask about, we've talked about the 5-5-5 rule in our market pretty consecutively, and I've sprinkled that through the territory as well. So how has that been working out for your team for, the 5 appointments scheduled where as a district you help them out, or a CIT helps them out, 5 where you guys are doing it together, and the 5 are actually auditing your associate?
So to be fully transparent and honest, the points that we've had as a team have gone from having a couple of people that came on who really came on part-time and have since either gone inactive or are what I call our inactive team, like they're on paternity leave, or they're just not a part of the active team. So I've been waiting to have people that I can get to that point where we're actually scheduling 5 so that I can actually do 5 and show. But right now, that's already been discussed and shared with some of the people that I have in the current sales school, and they're aware of it, and that's what I'm going to be doing. But we've done that between us as well, just to kind of get better practice in and familiarity too.
With each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the expectation, minimum 15 meetings scheduled in the first 90 days. Yeah. You're running the first 5 for them to watch back and forth, the next 5 ping pong, and the last 5 you're sitting there and truly having a coaching conversation to help them be independent. So
exactly.
You echoed 2 things, and this is something that I don't think AFWAC would actually love, but this is not an AFWAC podcast. So
this is going great.
No, so you kind of said oh yeah, I actually you tried doing this part-time in the very beginning, and then you also tried, having some part-time people on your team. Right. I'll just say this. I've noticed in my career, maybe a 1 out of 500 that would actually truly succeed. And there's a couple truly 1%ers out there, but how did you get those people? Now moving forward, do you have part-time people, or are you focused on full-time?
It's full-time, and there's specific reasons that, again, you guys have really conveyed to me that I've shown them in that regard. I've literally broken it down by the numbers. The market expectation is 300 bare minimum calls in a week. And if you break that down in somebody working just 20 hours, 4 hours a day, that is about 15 calls an hour. And if they can't do that, however they break up their schedule, they're not going to be successful. That's just the numbers are there to show that. And that's my point to them is if you have anything less than the bare minimum, this isn't going to work. So why don't you just take a step back and come back when you're ready to fully commit to actually making this successful? Otherwise, you're wasting your time and you're wasting my time.
Yeah.
Well said.
I think that's
great.
Fair. And they're doing 500 in Texas. So, that's only 100 a day. Again, breaking it down by hour, it's really not that much.
Yeah.
That was a golden nugget that we found on our call, on the Build a Bench call last week.
Yeah, in Texas.
In Texas.
Yeah. In rural Texas.
In rural Texas, where an associate was struggling, and the DSC goes, make 500 phone calls in a day, sit there for 7 hours and make the calls. His associate made 400 something dials and scheduled 4 DMs. And he's like, oh, I can do this.
Attracting and keeping the best talent means offering more than just a paycheck. Aflac Value Added Services delivers real-life support for your team. Identity protection from IRIS. Modern protection against scamming, phishing, and identity theft with proactive monitoring. Aflac Value Added Services, because supporting your team means supporting their whole well-being.
Let's talk through a little bit about your Build the Bench journey. And I say that just because you joined when you were CIT into that program. Obviously, we've done a little bit different last year versus this year, and we're adding, I would say, some quality people as guest speakers onto that. What are some, let's 2 biggest takeaways from being a part of that team?
I think number one, setting the higher expectations to be a part of it is really big, because it's pushing anybody that's looking to be involved to go further than the bare minimum, again, that we ask of, veterans or new agents. And so it puts that additional pressure and accountability to strive further, which is ultimately what we're going to need to do to be a leader anyways. So I think that's just been one. And I think genuinely too, obviously the content is really, really high up there, but I gotta say that building the camaraderie and relationships across the market with everybody involved is, when we already feel a little bit isolated just based off of being pretty remote in general across everybody, it's nice to build these relationships and have people that we can go to for questions that are in the same situation, in the same role, going through the same things that we are. And it's nice knowing too that, hey, there's other people going through these same things and I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, that's absolutely huge. Want to ask you also for, I'll just say, for somebody that is starting on your team in their first day, what are some of their expectations? What's their first day in the life? You talked about a little bit on your calendar, but what are the expectations on a weekly basis for somebody on your team if they're brand new?
If they're brand new, and I will just use a couple of my new guys as the example because I'm really, really excited right now.
Nice.
But before sales school even started, one of my 2 new guys, before he even got his license, he's already built his pipeline. He already put together a list of 200 accounts that he's going to actively start identifying the 60 that he's going to be campaigning. They already have exactly what is worked out in their sales school weeks from day to day on what they're going to be working on and what we're going to be doing. Uniquely today we're in the office too, but that was something they were aware about. But overall, they have their focus being on prospecting, whether it's in sales school or out in the field with me or with, a veteran that I have here, or they're learning and doing training and getting onboarded in the process. I have that first from the handoff, uniquely because these are a few that were recruited by the region. As soon as I get the contact with them, I schedule a time that we meet and we go over all of our team expectations, and I get them plugged into anything that isn't company provided, our team stuff, right away. And I tell them, start going through this. I send a specific few things that, and I'll shout out Chris Leininger for this because I got it all from her, but her binder stuff.
Nice.
I'm telling you, I use everything that everybody gives me.
None of us have any original ideas.
Yeah. So I give them all of the things that they should start looking over. Some, things to just get a little bit familiar with, some of the scripting, just so they can get a really early kind of first look before getting into sales school, so it's not a shock. And then they start actually getting the practice and getting worked into everything. And, they've got actually writing numbers coming in right now. So then I can get them into field force and starting the other stuff that they need to do.
Yeah. Help them get introduction quick. Yeah. What I took away from that is that you seem to make sure that they know where they're supposed to be all day, every single day. And there's no ambiguity to any of that, which I love.
Right. I kind of tell them like right before sales school is like when it's a parent about to have the baby come home. I'm like, just breathe and rest and look things over, because right away it's going to be like, drinking through a fire hose, and it's just going to be nonstop from there. I'm like,
that's a really good visual. That's so funny.
I mean,
yeah, that's so accurate.
I use those terms in sales school too. So.
Yeah, that's what we got.
Yeah, I've never heard the baby one, or maybe you guys said that to me, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's
now
so
it clicks.
real.
Now it clicks.
Yeah. Okay, these are we're gonna start going into rapid fire questions, but one I just love: daily or weekly habits that keep you most consistent.
I'll just start. I'm just gonna keep crediting everybody that I got things from, but I took Lisa's weekly PowerPoint and I made it a different one for our team. And so Sundays I go in and, update the numbers and RPM. So I have in front of every person on the team where they're at, where the team's at, and what's upcoming. And I think that's what keeps my cadence for the week. It helps me make sure that I know everything that's upcoming, because it's my accountability to the team. I got to make sure that they're aware of everything. So I have to make sure I'm aware of everything. So I do that weekly.
Nice.
And I like just making sure plugging in the different things on the calendar weekly that help me maintain the training, and the cadence of the check-ins has been really kind of game-changing for me too.
That's huge. Yeah. But it seems like you're spending a lot of time on detail. I mean, we could dig deep on so many of them, but even having your selfish day, which I heard you talk about on Tuesdays, where you're driving your own personal business. Those are all things that, it takes time, but it's awesome that you're doing those things. So good stuff.
Thank you.
So I want to ask you, when you're having a tough month, tough day, tough week, tough month, how do you go about resetting yourself and focusing on what you still have to get done? Because as a leader, sometimes it's not easy to separate of what is happening, but we do have our downtimes, right? So how do you go about changing that mindset and resetting?
I feel like it's not, for me, it's not really that I'm changing the mindset. It's that I'm remembering where I need to go to tweak. I need to pivot. August was an example, and I was making a joke actually with a few people that I was talking to at the Pirates night. But Mookie Betts has 2 rings, but he hasn't had a great couple of months either. So
right.
I'm like, it's just a matter of knowing how to make the adjustments. And, August, I guess this is, as I'm still kind of newer, is traditionally not the best month. And I'm learning that.
We're afraid to say it out loud. And Michelle will not say it out loud, but
yeah. So I mean, that was something. It's the first August I've had as a district, and I started just really, and she'll advocate for this too. I already have called my entire book, and that's how I have a bunch of lists of new hires now, because I know I needed to make adjustments to make sure that I had things in place, not just for me, but also for people on the team, when other things are kind of falling through, when we're having decision makers push things off that we were hoping would go through. Like I was telling you guys a couple weeks in a row, this guy's he's gonna do it. He keeps telling us that he's going to, and then he goes on another vacation. So there's things that are out of our control, obviously, but it's managing what's in our control. And it's something that, John and I talk about too. Just make sure you are managing what it is that you are able to adjust and change.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that you're going after big goals. So what are some of those things that you've had to change in your business as you've adjusted of showing yourself what's possible? I'll tell you, for anybody that is still listening, that at the start of this year, it's like, oh yeah, I hope that I hit quota and and I will throw that out there that I think that you'll at least be above 200% at the end of this year. I'm pushing you to 3. So what is that? Like, how have you made those adjustments? What's that like for somebody that also wants to make those same adjustments?
Honestly, as cheesy as it sounds, shooting for the moon is something that I now have been doing that I really wasn't before. I was really kind of nervous. I mean, I didn't really know that when I would take this role that I would be taking on higher than the scratch district quota, which is also new things for me that I was learning along the way. So
Nice.
it was like you said, like I bet on myself and I took on a challenge that I knew was higher than what some others may have, and I just started getting to work and making sure that I go for it. And now and we make the jokes now between us as well that I just go for every dollar, every signature, every account, everything I can. Like, I don't really have a target. The target is just as much as possible.
Nice.
Like,
Sky's the limit.
I give you guys numbers when you ask based off of like what I am kind of in general going for, but that's not all like a limit.
Heck yeah. Awesome.
I mean,
I love that.
Yeah.
let's be real.
You
That's
said
what I'm
that.
trying to do.
You said that, going through Build a Bench and learning from some of the top, leaders in our company that have higher expectations for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And, Michael and I talk about this a lot of like, man, that should be higher. Like, that should be higher.
Yeah.
And he came in this year saying 300%, nothing below 300%. And I think that's definitely sprinkled down to our leadership and especially our new leadership too. So.
It's kind of funny. The team had no idea that we were hitting our goal also for the quarter because I put in front of them higher from the first day of the quarter.
Now you just spilled the beans.
So I know they found out on Monday when you announced it. So they were like, we did. And I was like, no, this is our goal. We have not
announcing it ever again.
No, Aflac goals are, they're entirely different. And what's crazy is like, we say this all the time, but especially in California, like those do not help you achieve financial freedom whatsoever. Like it's 300%. That's when this actually starts getting fun. So we are going to do some more quick rapid fire ones of maybe something to do with Aflac, maybe nothing to do with that.
Well, before we jump into the quick fire, I did want to ask, what is one piece of advice that you wish you had before you stepped into the leadership role? But hindsight, right? Where you are today, looking back.
Before stepping into the DSC role, I probably would say that I wish that I had been told to really start looking for recruits earlier.
Okay. So building your team while you're still an associate kind of thing?
I think that could have made a lot more of a difference.
Here. Yeah. For sure.
And it's something that, we have dived into in Build a Bench. And I think it is important for districts to, whether they have them, being brought in by their regions or not, but having that skill set and being able to build their team to what the images that they're going for. I think that's unique because, when you have people on board that you brought in sharing your vision, it's nice if you can create that, but it's also better if you can just bring it in already.
Yeah. Well said.
Yeah. Well done.
Mm-hmm. Ready for your quick fires.
All right, ready? So if we spend a lot of time
roll up my sleeves
driving,
here.
It's intense.
Attracting and keeping the best talent means offering more than just a paycheck. Aflac Value Added Services delivers real-life support for your team. Advocacy and Wellness, 3 programs from Health Advocate SM offered in combination. From medical bill savings to legal guidance and wellness coaching, employees get the help that they need when it matters most. Aflac Value Added Services, because supporting your team means supporting their whole well-being.
Okay, so and I have one that has completely nothing to do with Aflac. We spend a lot of time driving. We spend a lot of time on the freeways here. So if you had a huge billboard on the 405 freeway, and it was just something that your associates saw every single day, and it could be a quote, it could be motivation, something that you live by, it could be an image, whatever you want, but something that your team would see to and from work every single day, and that any associate in LA should see. What would that billboard have on it?
I mean, I know exactly what it would be, but I feel like people who've heard me like do DM presentations and enrollments know I say this all the time, but I think it would probably say like Aflac is not car insurance. Like ask us about it. Because I feel like that's what we need to as agents, as like that's like the biggest hurdle is we really need to just get people to understand what we really are. I just feel like that would be like, because that's what I thought. And I tell everyone, I'm like, look, the bar is low. If that's what you think, it's okay. I did too, but it's not.
Yeah, and it's not your fault.
Okay.
Awesome. That's a good one.
So what $100 to $300 purchase that you've made this year that's improved your work life?
That's a good question.
Purchase, I don't know.
Yeah.
100 to 300.
Less than 300. Yeah.
Well, I said 100 to 300.
Yeah.
So.
Well, since there's some sitting right here, I would say like the investments in the team, things that I've ordered from Duck Gear, elevation items. I think that just building like the team spirit and the camaraderie and doing what you do in sales school also by providing some examples, it gives them ideas and it is just encouraging the system again. And Duck Gear's not that cheap, so it falls in that ballpark when I make the orders. So I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Anything you want, stop for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And for our,
I mean, I could say like adding like a shelf to my desk so I could fit more stuff, but it's like that's probably
shelf.
was under 100. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes, a better quality printer was nice, but I still don't think I print enough to have made it like.
You only got to choose one.
This podcast is sponsored by a printer and
by
HP by printer. I have one just because I know for fun you spend obviously a lot of time with the family. You guys do games, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite board game right now or game?
Oh, man. My husband hates playing games because I always win.
Nice. Classic.
But
Competitive. Got it.
I think my kids are at the age now where like Uno is like really hitting. So like
Nice.
they're getting like, it's not like just all tears as soon as they get like a draw 4 because we can't help it. They're actually like strategizing. So it's got to be Uno right now, I guess.
Uno.
Great
Awesome.
game. Great game.
If you could give one piece of just like final advice to people on our team, just any wisdom, any action items, something that they should be doing, what would that be?
I know it's said over and over and over, but like it's a funny plug for, Enroll Tools because they're here, but I
Sponsored by Enroll Tools.
genuinely feel like if it helps anybody, just remembering how important it is to follow up in a timely manner, with whatever it is. And I just feel like that's the thing that gets harder to do as things get busier and as things come around. And it's been something that I've worked on over my few years here at getting better at myself. But I just think it's, really important because we don't know the day that it will be something that's relevant to somebody who has said no to us a few times, and something might come up. An employee might have something that they wish they had done it sooner, but then they're like, well, now we should talk to Aflac. And I just think like that's the thing that when things are not going that well, just circle back. I don't think I've thrown away a single business card since I started, and I still like go back through like old stacks sometimes and just see if, if now's a good time.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, does it, how much does it cost
I'm like, that's
you
the
with
one that's like been there for a year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's time to bring that out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
I mean, I think if John heard that part, he'd twitch a little bit, but like, of just being like, oh, so not CRM, you're doing the business card. Like,
Well,
no, I like
older ones, like the ones that I've already like taken out of like my leads,
yeah.
you know.
But no, I'll say this is like a lot of times it's like, well, number one, we took this away as a takeaway that I thought was interesting was when to make 500 phone calls, not even looking at the name and just
Yes.
I also
I was like, that
it was genius.
Crazy, genius.
Because I do that. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm
like
not calling the 99-cent stores. Why are they on here?
Yeah. Or
But
like
why
we'll be
not?
like, oh, I don't know, this name for some reason gives me some weird arbitrary feeling that is based on nothing. So yeah, that's I love that, and yeah, big takeaway. And yeah, I think that also with like elevating, I mean, this is if you build it into the system that they're not even supposed to say yes until the 7th step or later, it makes it so none of the rejection or any of that stuff actually matters, because you're like, they're not like, it's weird if they say yes before then. So yeah, that's great stuff.
Yeah, something I actually was just recently, it was answering, I don't even remember if it was somebody on our team or within our region, but they were asking like, well, something along the lines of like, well, what do you even walk into and like say if like you already kind of have a feeling like, you know, they're busy, or I forget how the question was framed, but I told them like, look, what we've been doing is we out of the gate just tell them that we're coming in just to drop something off to educate them on what we're doing with some of their neighbors. Like I just worked into a couple of things that I've taken from some of the other people around. I'm like, listen, I know you're busy. This is just for you to share a little bit about what we're doing with your neighbors. We'll be back, and then just leave. And
yeah,
don't overcomplicate.
Yeah,
overthink
exactly. Yeah, it's not like it's specific, but it's just immediately assuming that that's going to be the case, and just letting it go from there.
Yeah, it's gonna be okay. Yeah.
Okay, well, Veronica, I wanted to say thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your AFLAG journey with our team. So for our listeners, here are some key takeaways from today. First and foremost is setting higher expectations more than anything. If we're saying 300, 500, let's do that stress test is a beautiful thing. But more importantly, betting on yourself. I think that's huge. Of believing, I used to call it burn the boat. Burn the boat, all in. And then don't be afraid to pivot as you need to make sure if something isn't working, pivoting sooner rather than later. Because a lot of times we look in hindsight like, gosh, why did we wait that long?
Yeah.
So I appreciate you sharing those insights with us today. So for our listeners out there, if you want to build your own legacy, start with some of these principles that Veronica had shared today and take action today. So this has been the LA Legends, where motivation meets practical thinking for the next leaders in LA South. Be sure to subscribe, share this episode, and connect with us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Until next time, keep pushing, keep growing, and keep building your legacy.